Okay, joining us now in the media center here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Danica Patrick. She drives the number 10 GoDaddy Cares Chevrolet for Stewart Haas Racing. And Danica, first of all, coming off your career best finish in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, very impressive last week, 7th place showing at Kansas. How does that momentum or that type of performance play for you as you get ready for 2 weeks here at Charlotte?
We're just doing our best as a team to take the positives from Kansas, and I mean, sure, emotionally, but really setup-wise and things like that we think will translate and carry those on. And I think that's part of the good part about doing well is that it gives some confidence, but it also helps show what stuff works out there. And your car has to be right. You have to qualify well. You have to run strong. You have to make good calls. It all has to get put together. So, the car is just one part of it.
And on another front, I know you guys got a new puppy this week. Maybe talk about how that's going.
It was a pretty magical weekend. A good night on Saturday night, and then on Mother's Day picked up my dog. So, or our dog, I should say. Yeah, we've got a little girl, a miniature Siberian Husky. Her name is Dallas, so she's really cute. I'm itching my face because she licked it, and it itches. So I just came from seeing her. As I walked away, Ricky was holding her, and I'm like, "See, babe, you have a little bit of a bad day, and you come back, and it's just a little better when you've got a dog to go play with and that'll lay with you." And she's been a lot of fun, but she definitely acts like baby. She wakes up all the time. She poops her pants, on the floor. She goes to the bathroom all the time. She's due for more shots next week, all that stuff.
One thing about a dog, though, never has a bad day.
No, they don't. Not if you show some love to them. So
That's right.
It's always good because in this cruel sport of racing, where very rarely are you on cloud 9, it's nice to come home to that.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll take some questions. We'll start with Jenna, and then we'll go to Tom.
Jenna Fryer, AP, this is just a statement before my question. Just on the local news the other day, they had a segment that unmarried couples should not get dogs together.
Oh, great.
Because when they break up, there's a big issue over, the whole dog. So, just FYI.
Is there a question?
Yeah, now I got a question.
Hope we don't ever have to cross that bridge.
How much confidence did you get, if any, from Kansas? Was that, something you knew you had in you and you could do, or was that something that you left there, like on cloud 9?
Honestly, I really believe I can do that. I don't think that I would be where I am today without the confidence that I can. At this point in time, after where I've been and how I've run, it was a little bit of a surprise. But I guess if things had been going well progressively from the beginning, these are the kind of races that I would have hoped to have had, every now and again starting now. But, obviously it hasn't been not nearly that good yet. But that's really an example of putting a whole weekend together, everything from getting help from my teammates to qualifying well, making good race calls, making good decisions on the car before the race, using our teammates and all the information we have to do that, and building a really great new car. You have to have everything together to be able to run up front in the Cup Series. It's just so hard. So I'm very proud of everyone for putting it all together and doing a great job.
Go to Tom, and then we'll go to Bob.
Hi, Danica. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. The All-Star race has a history. Rusty and DW in '89, Kyle Petty and Davey Allison in '92. Crazy finishes at the end where guys do things they might not ordinarily do. With $1 million on the line, assuming you race in Saturday night, what would you be willing to do for that $1 million?
I would say that when you're in the car, you're not thinking about the fact that I need to pass for $1 million. You're just thinking, I mean, if it was about money, I don't think that would be enough for any of us. It's about heart, and it's about doing your best, and it's about making the most of the night. So, you know, that's what's running through your head, is passing the car in front of you. Now, more than anything, since it's not really, I wouldn't think it's about money more than anything. It's more about, it's just a one-off race. So the results don't necessarily matter unless you win, so you might as well go for it. For me, I feel like that's what my attitude is towards it. Now, if you win $1 million, that's great. But if you win the race, you probably already have $1 million. So, you know, it's icing on the cake.
All right, let's go to Bob. And
now, if it was like $5 million,
yeah,
it might make you think. I'll pass for $5 million.
We'll go to Bob Pockris and then to Reed. And your name, please? Who? Yes.
John.
John, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Gotcha.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. What worked so well at Kansas? I mean, did you feel did the car just go wherever you would put it, or were you just more daring, or what? Can you kind of give us a feedback?
It's something that happens twofold. I think that when the car is good, you can be more daring because it's not going to step out on you. You trust it, and you know what it's going to do. So, you know, when things aren't as good on track and the car doesn't feel as good, then it's a lot harder to be more brave because there's a higher likelihood that it's not going to end well. So, for me, the big difference is that it was really good on restarts. It was really stuck in traffic. And it was really good on the long run. I never noticed a lack of grip at any point. For me, that was what I noticed last weekend above any other weekend, was the consistency of it. And that's what allowed me to be able to, I feel like, have great restarts, or definitely not really lose a lot, which has been somewhere, I would say qualifying and restarts are a place where it comes up that I need to work on it, and it's true. I mean, yes, that is the case, but I think last weekend was what, you know, you see what can happen when the car is right, and it gives me the confidence to do more. And I think that as time goes on and you get more seasoned as a driver, you can overcome some of that for sure. But it's still got to be good.
Let's go to Reed and then to John.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. To follow up on that, some drivers talk about the day the light went on and they sort of got what's going on out there. Was there any of that aspect to it for you at Kansas? And do you feel like with that performance you've turned a corner?
No. It was a good weekend, and, you know, I feel like I'm feeling the car better and better, but I don't think it was a light switch for me. It was just a weekend that so many good things happened in the race, and, you know, we ran with such good cars and passed such good cars that I think that for me it gives me confidence for sure. Not that, like I said, I always believe I can do that, but then when you're head-to-head with guys like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr., I mean, you know, when you're head-to-head with those guys, then it's a whole, you know, it's another story kind of on their own. So, you know, I think that if we keep doing what we're doing and keep our heads down and not get flustered, you know, not every single weekend's going to be like that. It's not like that every single weekend for anyone, but we'll have more of those for sure.
John?
Hi, Danica. John Householder, NASCAR Productions. In looking ahead to next week for the Coca-Cola 600, as a driver, how do you both mentally and physically prepare yourself for that race with it being so long?
Oh, what's another 100 miles on top of 500? It really doesn't seem that long. I did it the last 2 years, right? I did it in 10 and 11 as well, yeah. And the last year seemed pretty quick. Now, mind you, I did get crashed. But the year before seemed, I mean, I don't think there's ever been, I mean, to me, the longest race of the year, which didn't happen this year, so a lot of it has to do with how you're doing, how the car is, what's happening on track. Are you, like, actually racing people throughout the race? I always felt like Darlington was the longest race in the whole world. It's like, felt like, you know, 800 miles to me, but for some reason this year it went quick. So, you know, I think that, I just think that it has to do with how your race is going. And, you know, another 100 miles will just, if you're running well, it's going to help. And if you're not, then it's not. But other than that, it's just another long race, and we have a lot of them.
Destin, right here. And then right here.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Danica, a couple things. The grip level here is much different. There's less grip here than at Kansas. Am I correct in that? So that for all the success with the grip level, the restarts, that there's the challenge resumes here this weekend because it's a different track. And secondly, Mark Martin's back. I can't remember the last time he's been at the track, but have you had much conversation and just having him back this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's the grip level at Kansas is higher, but they also then give you a harder tire. So it's not as though they're worlds apart, but there is less grip here, and the track is rougher and seems to wear the tires out a little bit more. So so there's a little bit more of a difference from the beginning to the end of the run. And yeah, Mark is back. I walked into the hauler this morning and saw him. I was like, there you are. He's been not feeling so great throughout the beginning of the year and was intended to be around every weekend and or most weekends to sort of help out and fast forward the learning curve and play a part as much as he could to help with that. So it's good to see him. And he's obviously great around here, so it's nice for him to come for this one. But it's nice to have one more driver on my side that has a ton of experience that can help me, and especially one that's not in the car that can see everything that's going on and hear it. Every little bit helps. I'm never mad when someone has a suggestion or something they think would help me. I'll always try it, and it's sometimes they're just nice little reminders every now and again about getting down to the line or trying high. I mean, you kind of get in such a rhythm of trying to make the most out of what you think is best that you need to step out. So sometimes it's even simple little reminders that are nice.
We'll go right here, and then we'll end with Kenny.
Hi, Danica. I'm Aaron Burns with National Speed Sport News right here. You've qualified in the top 10 in 3 of your last 6 knockout qualifying runs. I'm curious if you'd kind of give your thoughts on if you feel like knockout qualifying is something that is a little bit more suited to your strengths. And even though it's not going to be happening for today, I mean, do you think that the momentum from that can help you moving forward in qualifying?
It's definitely better. I mean, that's obviously something that I needed to work on, but you still have to have a good car. And, the first top 10 was at Martinsville, and we saw how that all ended, and I was absolutely terrible that day. So it's not everything, but it definitely helps. And I would actually venture to say that when knockout qualifying happens and we all get done with our first run, there's a heck of a lot more times that I've been in the top 15 most of the time when I finally get things going in knockout qualifying, and then like last weekend, everybody starts to go out again and goes faster. So I don't know. Like I said at the beginning of the year, I think it all evens out in the end. There are times where you find speed and you make something happen and you get in, and there are times that you get in on a good time and then you go out and you go from being 11th overall after the first round and you go out and you're 24th and you're like, that sucked. So it's if it's more interesting for the fans, then that's the most important thing for our sport, because we're fan-driven so much. And we have to keep them entertained for sure and keep them watching and interested. And at the end of the day, it's just racing, and it's just driving and driving as fast as you can. It's just more of it.
We'll go to Kenny, and actually then we'll finish with Claire B. Go ahead, Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Danica, there's been a lot of talk about your finish at Kansas, everything from it was a one-shot deal, we don't expect it to happen again, to she's finally showing what some people expected her to show when she came to NASCAR. You talked about your confidence, but did that run change your expectations of your mile-and-a-half program or your racing program overall?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what the first part of that, why you even said it, but if you're just asking about does that give confidence to my mile-and-a-half program,
Not so much confidence, but just the expectations. Like you said, you always knew.
So therefore it's just about my expectations, not anybody else's. So I never think about those. Those aren't important to me. They don't affect me. They don't make me go any faster. and I just have to make sure I keep my confidence up and they don't make me go any slower. Weekends like that are just good signs, and they show hard work by everybody, and they make you excited to do it more. So I think the optimism level goes up because you're riding high and you want to keep doing that. And I think that we have to keep our expectation levels in check just a little bit and make sure that we don't just go out there and expect to run in the top 5 or 10 every single time. Now we have to remember that there's a process to it, and that we skipped over top 15s and went right to top 10s, and shoot, we pretty much skipped over top 20s and many of those either. So, you know, we have to keep improving and keep getting in the thick of the good drivers and, you know, move up like that. And it definitely gives confidence, and it's definitely a good sign, and it's definitely good to have those races, and we just hope to have them more often.
Final question, Claire B. Lang, over to your left.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Austin Dillon already sort of conceded the fan vote to you, saying he thought Danica would probably win the fan vote or to give it to her. But I wonder if you feel like that gives a lot of confidence, and a lot of the racers, all of them, really want to race their way in, not be voted in. But your fans have a very strong fan base. Yeah, I was very fortunate to win the sprint fan vote last year, and it was great racing and practice, and a challenge for me before the Coke 600. Which we were having a pretty good race in the Coke 600, so I think that it definitely helped. What can I say? I'm just really fortunate. My fans are awesome. There's so many of them that defend me and support me to the bitter end, and it's cool that they can play a part in my racing career, and that's what they do. I mean, for them to be able to use their voice or fingers to vote for me and give me more track time and help me be better, then that's playing a part. So I'm really fortunate for that, and hopefully that happens. If not, then not. But definitely, every driver wants to race their way in and not even have to think about the fan vote, and that's my plan tonight.